Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I am with you until around 5 o'clock. I'm with you till around 5 o'clock. I just rushed in, turned everything on. I gotta get everything kind of put together. Come on in. Come on in. I just rushed in, trying to put everything together. I didn't have time to make any adjustments to anything. Okay, stop. You can stop. You can minimize you. Let me see. I think I need you open. Okay. So come on in. Come on in. Hold on. Let me see something. No, you. That's what I need to see. Why are you not acting right? Okay. I'm not sure why I'm not streaming to the afternoon experiment page. Yeah, no, I see it, but it's not sending. All right, I have to fix this offline. I know, sending data. Close that. All right, we close you. Hey, cuz, how's your day? Busy? I see running around, major late. Yes, but I'm here. But I am here. So good afternoon, everyone. Terry, good afternoon. LaDonna, good afternoon. SOT Soldier. We'll just stop there because I don't want to butcher you. What's up? Deborah, what's up? Tria, how you doing? Kenneth, how you doing? Mike Ballard. Oh, and he checked, he said he did get married. He think he did it right this time. I hope so. I love, in particular, black love. I love it. Scott, hey, what's up? Denise Divine, how you doing? Breenie, hey. Erica, good afternoon. Quintano in the house. Check 1, 2. I hear you. You look gray. Oh, you mean the photo itself looks gray. I didn't have time to mess with the picture either. I thought you meant my hair for a minute. Oh, I guess I could brighten that up a little bit. Hold on, let's see. Let's brighten that up a little bit. Give it a little splash of color. Just a little. That's too much. A little splash of color. What are you doing? Stop it. I don't know. Maybe that helped. Hopefully that helped. Again, this ain't the best monitor. Jay, I'm gonna send you a message. Get this monitor thing together. Don says much better, and that's good. Okay. It's just, this ain't the best this is this monitor ain't even like 16 by 9. This is an old school kind of square monitor. It's just something that I had sitting around, so I don't really trust the color on it. That's why I always be looking orange. I'm always looking orange when I look back at the videos. Like, why am I so orange? Because I can't rely on this. So I need a monitor. Somebody said turn up the mic. The mic look like it's good. My levels look good. but maybe I should speak up. Maybe I should speak up. 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. Couple things to talk about. I haven't been on since Monday, have I? No, I think I came on Tuesday, didn't I? I was late. I don't even remember. Oh, this week just be going so fast. But I know we talked about the fight with the teacher with no drawers on. All right. And I did see where somebody posted an update that both the teacher and the student were charged. And I'm comfortable with that. Because the student was wrong and the teacher was wrong. So I'm comfortable with that. Really wish that law enforcement didn't have to get involved, but it is what it is. It happens. And then there were this kind of string of, if you want to call it a string, the 16-year-old who knocked on the wrong door, the 20-year-old who they drove into the wrong driveway, and the cheerleader. That's just how they're describing her. She was like a super cheerleader. Denise says she had on thongs. It's still inappropriate. Thongs ain't really draws. You know what I'm saying? Thongs ain't really draws. If you ask me, draws, panties, they cover your behind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They cover your behind a little bit. Them ain't really draws. So either way, it was inappropriate in high school. But that is what that is. And then we had the cheerleader who got into the wrong car. I still got questions about that one. And I was kind of trying to follow the story. So they went to the spot. She got in the car or opened up the car door and noticed that, oh, I'm in the wrong car. Closes the car door, gets into the other car. And then the person gets out of the car and approaches the other car and then opens fire. The whole thing just seemed super weird and wacky. It seems super weird. Yeah, I know two cheerleaders got shot, but they really only care about the one. One was treated. I don't even know if the one of them ended up in the hospital at all. Like, oh, we treated and released. So maybe that was hospital. And then the other one, they had to take out her spleen and she got shot in the leg and whatever. But people shouldn't be shooting people if they don't feel like their life is in danger. But I'm going to be honest. I could see how you could feel like your life was in danger if somebody just opened up your car and get in. Now, of course, it becomes weird when the person gets out and then goes and gets in another car full of people. That gets a little weird. But I could even kind of see you could still feel like your life, like they ain't gone. Like she got in my car. If you've never been sitting somewhere minding your own business, it's happened to me. If you've ever been sitting somewhere minding your own business in your car and somebody else just open up your car door and get in, that's a frightening situation. It's frightening because you don't expect it. And especially if you know what I'm saying, like me, I'm playing a game or, looking up something on my phone. So I didn't even see them coming. And just my car door opens and it's a total stranger getting in. And you're like, what the world is going on? So that could be scary. Myosa says your life is no longer in danger if the person gets out of the car. Not necessarily. Y'all could have been trying me. Now y'all setting me up for something. You got in the car. You was like, oh, he ain't got nothing. So then you go get in the other car like, good, let's go get him. That's a stretch. But I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible that you could still feel in danger. It ain't like danger just come and then it just boom. Oh, I'm not in danger anymore. I'm fine. No, the danger, the feeling of your life being in danger is not just an instant and then goes away in an instant. It's not. It lingers. It lingers. And you're like, what's going on? And then they get out and you're like, hold on, what is going on? It's two of them. It's a whole car full of them. What is going on? And I wouldn't suggest getting out of the car shooting people. I wouldn't suggest that at all. But I'm just saying. But the bottom line is, young people are under attack. Young people are under attack. And I was thinking about it. And I think I know why. I think I know why. Not why young people are under attack. I know why young people are under attack. Because as a society, we hate young people. We hate their exuberance and we hate their ignorance. And when you combine exuberance with ignorance, you get this exuberant ignorance. And it's just irritating as heck. It is. It's irritating. Young people are irritating. Don't you think by walking up to the other car puts yourself in more danger? Well, some people don't flee danger in that way. Some people confront danger. Some people confront danger. Like I've always imagined, again, this is a little bit of a stretch, but it's to illustrate the point. I've always imagined if I was in a Friday the 13th, I wouldn't run from Jason. I wouldn't run from Jason. I'd be like, nah, Jason, we about to have it out. You're going to kill me or I'm going to kill you. It's going down. Realistically, I would do it like in a wide open field and I would just kind of circle him the whole time till the morning came. I'd be tired. Hopefully he'd be tired. And then he'd be like, this fool, I'm going home, back to the swamp. But some people run from danger. Even though their life is in danger, other people run towards that danger to confront that danger. Because there's a group of people that don't like to feel in danger. And I'm kind of one of them. So while I understand what you're saying, no, if you really think you're in danger, then why walk up to the car? I get that. But it's kind of like, if I think that they about to do something to me, I'm not just going to sit here and be a victim. I'm going on the offense. So, again, not saying that that's exactly what happened. The whole thing is really weird to me, and I need some more details. I need a video. There's video everywhere. Why don't we not have video in any of this stuff? There's video everywhere. This was the only, I can't remember. It wasn't a laundromat. What was it? Where were they at? Where were they at? Was it I don't remember. And I've read this story, I don't know how many times. It wasn't a laundromat. It wasn't a grocery store. Where were they at? Bottom line, not that important. A mall parking lot. I don't imagine that there's a mall parking lot in America that don't have cameras everywhere so we could see what happened. It's just weird to me that all of this stuff is happening and we don't have video of any of it. Video is everywhere. I tell people all the time, you have to work under the assumption that when you walk out of your door, you're on somebody's camera. From the moment you step out the door, you're on somebody's camera. I function under that assumption. I do. I function under that assumption. Just think about how many times you've pulled into a driveway just to turn around. Can't do that anymore. Well, but this driveway was like a mile long. It's like a mile long. It's a little different than your regular run-of-the-mill driveway. Now, maybe they thought they were driving down a street. But that was what I read. That his driveway is like a mile long. It's a long ass driveway. So to get all the way down to the house, you know what I'm saying? You was going for a minute. It wasn't just, let me pull in, back out, turn around. But bottom line is, we don't like kids. We don't like young people in America. Maybe around the world, can't say. But in America, we don't, as a society, we don't like young people. We have contempt for young people. Not only we don't like young people, like, we hate young people. We hate young people. I know we say we don't. We say we don't. But the truth of the matter is, we do. We do. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know. Hold on. Before you say it's because they so disrespectful. I think it's the hatred that we have for them. When I say we, I mean we, society, not we as individuals, because I don't hate them. But I think it's this hatred that we have for them that creates the disrespect that they have for us. We treat them as less than human because they're young and ignorant. So we show so much contempt for them. And then we wonder why they so disrespectful. Because you don't respect them and they're humans. And as a human, if you constantly walking around being disrespected, you're going to kind of reciprocate that eventually. You're going to reciprocate that. You go to a job as an adult, you're not even, hopefully, as ignorant as a 16, 15-year-old. You go to your job, and your job treats you less than human. Like your feelings don't matter. Like your rights don't exist. Like, they can lord over you. They can bully you. They can physically domineer you and force their will on you constantly. And if you even question it, they treat you worse. You go to your job and that happens to you on a regular basis. Eventually, the people who treat you like that, you're going to start treating them worse. And I don't understand why we don't think that young people have those same feelings. Like a public service announcement. Young people are people. Young people are people. They're just young. Yes, they're ignorant, but they're still people. You know how you get angry sometimes? So do they. You know how you get frightened sometimes? So do they. You know how you feel lonely sometimes? So do they. And they don't even have the ability many times to reason, because they don't have the experiences to reason it out. So they experience all the feelings and emotions and everything that you do. They do. I know some of you, well, they're young people. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. They experience all the same feelings and stuff that you experience. But you think you can treat them like crap. Because they're young. Now, look, granted, I'm not saying every adult treats every young person like they crap and every young person is going to respond the same way. Because that's just not true. And I think if you look at the numbers bear this out. The overwhelming majority of young people thank you. The overwhelming majority of young people are doing what's right. But you know how, like, you can go to your job? Like, y'all, this is not crazy. Somebody said that this is Anthony call. Okay, Anthony. Oh, no. Let me get Anthony in here. Anthony.
E, man, that's ridiculous. Come on, E.
What's Anthony, stop.
Coming up to school.
Anthony.
No.
Anthony.
What, man?
Come on. You know me. Let's be reasonable. Let's talk. Now, you said that's ridiculous. What is ridiculous?
Talking about these kids in school with cell phones. We went to school, man. I remember when Walkman came out. Everybody had a Walkman.
Anthony, you didn't say anything. Stop it. Come on. Let's have a conversation. I know you all hyped up. And you're not even a young person. You can't control yourself right now. So come on, let's control her. Let's control her.
Okay, whatever.
All right. Now, you said what I said is ridiculous. What part of what I said is ridiculous? I mean, before you answer, it's ridiculous that young people are human? Is that the ridiculous part?
No, it's ridiculous that you saying young people are getting beat down and feeling disrespected. But we're talking about the girl in school school.
No,
with
we're
the
not.
phone.
No, we're not. We're not. We're talking about young people in general. But she is surely an example of what I'm talking about. But you're saying it's ridiculous to assert that there are young people who get disrespected. That's ridiculous to you.
No, it's not. That part right there. But I'm talking about the specific situations about having rules and regulations that we all had.
But before we get to that, you started by saying you made a simple statement, and I want to get into that simple statement. What I said was ridiculous. Now you haven't told me yet what I said that's ridiculous.
I was referencing back to the girl in the school because to me it was about the girl in school with the cell phone.
Okay, so you're retracting the what I said is ridiculous part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I will retract that because some kids can feel like they're being disrespected, and it does happen.
Yes.
But I don't believe it happens due to the facts of having rules and regulations and expectations, because we all had those coming up in the home and in school.
Okay. I didn't say it comes because there are rules, regulations, and expectations. Although I do believe that just like in almost every workplace, you can give 10 people the same set of rules and regulations and expectations, and somebody will listen to it and be like, oh, great, that gives me structure. Somebody else gonna be like, who are they trying to control me? You know what I'm saying? So if adults can do it, why do we think kids won't fall into that same category? The overwhelming majority of young people in school, in their regular life, out in the streets, do what they're supposed to do. Just like adults, there are some outliers.
You're right. But again, it's one of those things, even as adults, you have to pick and choose your battles. There are some things that you can fight against because they're totally wrong, just like if you want to go back to you, like you did with taking the vaccination. But when everybody's got the same rules and regulations that don't physically interfere with what you feel ideology. Oh Lord, I can't speak right now.
I know what you mean.
Your personal feelings about something like that's totally different to me. That's totally different to me.
I'm not.
But we all had the.
I'm not understanding what you're
saying. And people talk about, well, these kids ain't got nothing to do, this and that and whatever. We didn't have a lot of places to go. We had a few places to go. But even if we didn't, when those places were closed or whatever, we went outside and we played baseball, basketball, killed a man with the ball. We bought combat boots and made roller skates. We came up things to keep ourselves occupied and use our imagination.
What do you think these young people are doing nowadays?
We didn't go running through the streets terrorizing people, jumping on cars.
Hold on, stop, Anthony. What do you think the young people are doing nowadays?
Well, if you just look at the video that came out a few days ago about running through the streets of Chicago, that's what they're doing.
Anthony,
they're going in the stores. They're going in the stores doing pop-up robberies and snatch and grabs.
Anthony,
we didn't do that.
Anthony,
we didn't. Come on, man. You can't.
Anthony,
go ahead.
You're being exceptionally unreasonable. Let me illustrate.
It's unreasonable to say because you ain't got no place to go to play basketball at the moment that you should be able to go out and just terrorize people in the streets. That's unreasonable?
That's not the part that's being unreasonable. Here's the part that's being unreasonable. Let me lay it out to you in two separate chunks. Chunk number one. When we hear about young people minding their own business, staying at home, playing their video games, we get furious. Get them kids outside. They just want to sit around and play video games. They need to be out doing stuff. Those are kids who've come up with something to do when there's nothing to do. But we mad because they've come up with something to do because we don't like the something that they've come up with to do. And you hear it all the time, Anthony, people fussing about the kids being at home on their video game. That's all they want to do is play them video games. That's all they want to do is play them video games. But now we complaining some kids ain't playing video games because they out running in the streets.
No, I never complain. I do complain about video games because I believe that's part of what's keeping kids being able to actually socialize face to face.
All right.
So I do complain about that.
Right.
But
so
I'd rather have you at home playing your video games but just because you ain't at home playing your video games don't mean you have to be out in the street robbing and stealing and terrorizing people. That's not the same.
Right.
If you don't want to play your video game, go out, sit outside and talk about whatever or come up with something and keep yourself occupied like we did in the old days.
Okay. Now let's go to the old days.
That don't give you no reason to go out because you don't want to be at home and be on your video games to be out in the street doing that kind of crap. That don't mean that.
Anthony, so you lead us to chunk number 2. But let me recap chunk number 1. You get mad when they stay at home and play video games. Then chunk number 2, the idea that when I was coming up, I'm gonna just say the 80s, because in 1980 I was 10. So from the 1980 to 1990, what irritates me with some older people and people my age is we act like all kids in the 80s were responsible kids playing hopscotch and killed a man. Young people robbed people in the 80s. Young people created violent and what you're calling terroristic situations in the 80s. Again, the idea that when I was coming up, if we didn't have nothing to do, we created something to do. We wasn't out there. That's what you, Anthony. That's what
you had some outliers.
Anthony,
like you said, you had some outliers that did it. It wasn't like it is today, E. It was not. It was not like Cincinnati was not like it is today in the 80s. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't like that in the 70s. And it wasn't like that in the 60s. And in the 60s, I was 10. So
look,
what they're doing today is what they're doing today. I've never seen in my 56 years on this earth. I've never seen.
What are they doing that you've never seen in your 56 years on? Give me some examples.
I've never seen pop-up snatch and grabs. I've never seen kids.
Hold on, stop.
Let's
take them one at a time. Let's take them one at a time. Stop it. You telling me up until let's say 2020, you let's just take to the 90s on back. You're telling me before the 90s, no kids robbed places, just ran in, smashed, and robbed places.
I'm not. Again, we had boosters back then. We had some boosters, but it wasn't this coordinated gang mob of people who just ran in the stores.
Anthony,
it wasn't.
Anthony,
we didn't.
So you did see.
We had kids that did things on the street. They might have snatched a couple of cars or whatever, but it wasn't these groups of kids who went around doing what they're doing because they seen a TikTok video.
But no,
stealing kids and Hyundais. It wasn't like that. It wasn't.
You're right. It wasn't like that because it wasn't no TikTok. So I will give you that. They didn't do it back in the 60s and the 70s because they saw a TikTok video. They did it because they came up with the idea.
Well, they didn't do it back then because it was very easy to hotwire cars either. But they still didn't have gangs of kids who just went around Cincinnati or whatever, just stealing cars for the hell of it. It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
That's not true. That's not true. In the
70s,
Anthony.
Yes, it is.
In the 70s,
yes, it is. Yes,
Anthony.
it is.
Anthony.
Yes, it is.
You're not being reasonable.
You didn't have kids. You didn't have kids just running through the streets, jumping on cars and breaking out store windows and beating up any tourists.
Anthony.
Eve, when was the last time? Like I said, go back to the video in Chicago. When was the last time you seen something like that in Cincinnati?
Anthony, you are not being reasonable. Everything.
I'm not being reasonable. When was the last time? Answer that question. When was the last time you seen something like that video in Chicago happen in Cincinnati?
I haven't seen it happen in Cincinnati.
Okay. So when I said I've never seen it in my 56 years, then Anthony, how am I being unreasonable?
You're being unreasonable because you're floating the notion that back in my day, kids didn't get together in groups and menace a neighborhood. No, kids didn't steal cars in the 60s or the 70s. Kids didn't break windows in the 60s or the 70s.
There's levels to everything, E. There's levels to everything. What's going on now didn't happen when I was coming up. It didn't. The way it's happening now did not happen when I came up. I didn't see people. I've never seen anybody in school fighting teachers. I didn't.
Okay. And
I didn't see anybody who
Anthony,
even
hold
flinched at a teacher
on.
like they was gonna
See,
try to hit him.
here is why you frustrating me. Because you're being unreasonable. Anthony, let me ask
Come
you.
on, man.
I
Come
want to
on.
ask you a
Come
couple
on,
simple
E.
questions. I want to ask
Come
you
on,
some
E.
simple questions. Can we have a conversation?
Yeah, I'm just, but
Okay.
you told me I'm being unreasonable, and I'm listening to some of the stuff
You
that you're
don't
saying,
you
and it's
don't
like
really
I
want to
can't
have a
even believe you
conversation.
fixing your mouth to say that.
You don't really want to have a conversation.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
To me, a conversation is like, you might talk, you might ask me some questions. I might talk, I might ask you some questions. I'm going to answer the questions that you ask. You're going to answer the questions that I ask. We're going to dialogue back and forth, and eventually you're going to see how wrong you are. Okay?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the examples that you're bringing up, again, you're floating the notion. You said, I didn't see no videos when I was coming up of kids fighting teachers. Okay. That's very possible, probably probable, because people wasn't running around in high school with 35 millimeter cameras to take video and then developing the film and then sending it to the news. We live in a different age. The idea that in the 60s, no kid ever got into a fight with his teacher is off the charts ridiculous. It has happened from the beginning of time. Young people have challenged authority. In the 60s, I can guarantee you, kids got into altercations with teachers. Guaranteed. You didn't see it on video because, it's kind of hard to bring that 8 millimeter camera up into the school and sneak it into class because they were huge. So, no,
Okay.
you're not seeing these things in your day on the news. But that don't mean they didn't happen.
Now I think you kind of misrepresented what I said. I said I never seen videos like that, and I also meant I never seen that in person.
Most kids have never seen it in person.
I asked you, I asked you, when was the last time you seen anything that like what went on in Chicago, here in Cincinnati, in your time here in Cincinnati? And you said you didn't.
I answer, I haven't. But here's why that's a ridiculous question to me. There's a lot of things that happen in Chicago that will never happen in Cincinnati. And how are you making that comparison? Now, here's the question. Did anything like that ever happen in Chicago in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 60s, or in the 70s? Do you think groups of young people ran through the streets of Chicago at any point in any other decade?
What I would say to that, as a rebuttal to that, I would think that if it did, it would have been on the news. I would have seen it. I would have remembered it. Because the way we're portrayed in the news, I'm sure they would have did the same thing back then. The way they portrayed us today, they would have portrayed us back there that back in the 80s.
Here's why I think you're wrong.
Because back in the 80s, back in the 80s and 90s, you were always seeing everything, every little shooting or gang-related thing out in California.
No, you didn't. See, that's just it.
That was always on the news, E.
Anthony, you did not. You didn't. Look, in the 70s? Because that's when you talking about. In the 70s, there was we didn't have a 24-hour news cycle, so people were filling up the news with all of this stuff. CNN and all that stuff didn't exist, and Al Sharkati wasn't doing 24 hours of news to put every shooting that happened in Chicago on the news and every shooting that happened in L.A. on the news. That just wasn't happening.
But what I'm saying, E, is I remember seeing in the 80s and 90s about the gang-related violence out in L.A., and I'm saying that same mentality the news had about us then would have be portrayed if there was kids running around in the streets just doing the pop-up smash and grabs and stuff like that. They would have showed that too, because that's what they do.
No, Anthony.
So if it was going on, Anthony, it would have been shown.
No, Anthony. There's a reason why maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was happening and it wasn't shown. There's this thing that they have. I call it an agenda, right? Just like you hear, it's dying off, but about what's going on in Ukraine, that don't mean that it ain't a war going on somewhere else in the world, but we're hyper-focused on the Ukraine. So just because they're showing gang-related shootings during the crack epidemic on the news, don't mean you're going to see every crime that happens in Chicago on the news, unless it perpetuates the agenda that they want to perpetuate. If they want to talk about how black people are these horrible criminals slinging crack, destroying the neighborhood so that Nancy Reagan can say, just say no, that's what they're going to show you on the news. It doesn't fit anyone's agenda to show a group of kids smash a window and grab some purses. That doesn't fit that agenda. So the idea that, well, if they showed us gang shootings from LA on the news, they would have showed us a smash and grab on the news. No, it didn't fit their agenda, but it don't mean that it wasn't happening.
So what you're saying is, if I can get this right,
All right.
is that the way our kids are treated, and we are treating our kids in society, that gives them all the right to do whatever they want to do and feel how they want to feel. And we should just have no rules, no expectations, and they get a pass because they're not considered to be equal citizens. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely not. And I didn't say anything.
Well, what are you saying?
I didn't say anything anywhere close to that. What I said was, and again, since you want to keep going to that particular incident of that teacher fighting that student, I said, I don't know how many times the other day, I've said it even today, that student was wrong. So if my point was,
I know you said that.
but so then that even undercuts the point that you tried to put on me, because you just said you just finished saying that my point is that kids should be able to do anything they want to do and there shouldn't be any rules on them and they can do no wrong because of the way we treat them. But if I'm already saying that the kid was wrong, you clearly know that's not the point that I'm making.
So where are you going with the premise that, you know, these kids are feeling this kind of way, and so what does that all mean? Does that mean we should give them a pass, or what? I mean, what does that mean?
What it means is that we should treat children with respect. Just because they're children doesn't mean that they deserve to be treated less than human. They're not animals in obedience training. They have feelings. Apparently you don't, because when I said it,
no, I do get that, but I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this whole conversation of that. I mean, why are you bringing that up? And I mean, I just don't. I mean, what situations are you equating that to?
To all of these situations. We're wondering why our young people are so disrespectful, why we feel like they're so disrespectful, why we feel like there's this rise in lack of respect. But if we're not respecting them, if we outwardly show hatred towards our young people, how do we expect them to just walk around so meek and mild and respectful? Come on, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it.
Being projected to them on them. I mean, what kind of hatred? What are we talking about here?
Number one, we have adults walking up into schools shooting young people. We got, which I know you might not think that's hateful, but walking up into a school shooting young people. So some of them are young people, but some of these people are adults, and doing that, believe it or not, Anthony, I mean, it could probably feel hateful to a young person to be shot at. We also got just all of the different things. You just even listen to you. Listen to the things that you said just today on this show. The fact that, when I was growing up, basically we were good little angels, but now these kids are straight from the pit of hell.
Now you're putting words in my mouth.
I am putting words in your mouth, but
I did my dirt.
That's the idea.
But you know what?
That is the idea that you put out.
When I was standing on the corner with my cats and we was cussing or talking about whatever, when we seen an elder walk by, we didn't take up the whole sidewalk. We stepped back. We muted our conversation till the elder got past, and we went back to doing what we was doing. Okay, so I never said that I was an angel. I did my dirt.
That was you.
I did some dirt as an adult.
Okay, that was you and your group of friends. At least that's what you saying now. I don't know actually what y'all did, but that's what you saying. But again, floating the notion that no young people were ever disrespectful to old people back in your day.
I never said that either. I never said that.
I didn't say you
again,
said
you
that.
putting words in my
No, I
mouth.
didn't.
I never
I
said
did
that.
not. I didn't put words in your mouth. I said you're floating that notion. That means that's not.
I didn't float that notion
Yes,
either.
you did. That means it's not the direct words that you're saying, but it's the idea that you're attempting to convey. When you convey the idea, yes, when you convey the idea that back in my day, yeah, we might have been out on the street doing dirt, but when a elder came by, we cleared the sidewalk and be quiet and let them walk by. That is floating the notion that back in my day, people in my generation respected elders.
We had more respect for our elders back then than we have. You see kids showing.
There were
showing
people back in your day that was disrespectful as hell to elders.
Not on this level, though. That's what I'm saying.
And this is the hatred that I'm talking about.
What they're doing today, like I
Anthony,
said,
this is the hatred that I'm talking about. The idea that none of the things that are happening today was happening whenever your day was, and it's not just you.
I didn't say that. Again, I didn't say that. You keep adding stuff. You always do that. You come up with these topics, and then you add these other scenarios and these other words. You do that all the time.
Again, Anthony, you may not understand this. And I'm trying to help you understand it. You just because you don't say the actual words don't mean that you're not floating the idea. Okay?
Just because you didn't say there shouldn't be any rules or regulations or anything, and we shouldn't have expectations, don't mean that you not floating that idea.
Well, I said
your words.
I actually said the exact opposite. You didn't. So that makes a difference.
I didn't say that. Again, I said on this level that we're seeing things going on today, we never seen back when I was coming up. And you even admitted that you haven't seen any of that in Cincinnati when you were coming up.
Okay.
So again,
so what are you saying that to say? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I'm just saying that I believe there is a much more of a lack of respect today in children than there was back in my day. And not that the kids back in my day didn't do some dirt. Yes, we did. I did.
But it was better dirt than what the people are doing now.
It was not to the extent that it's going on today, E.
And that,
it's just not.
And that, Anthony, is the hatred that I'm talking about. That is the lack of respect that I'm talking about. That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Because I can accept that 5 kids in my day did this, but I can't accept 5,000 kids doing it today. So that's my lack of respect.
No, Anthony, it's the idea that you believe that only 5 kids in your day did it, but you believe that 5,000 kids are doing it today. That's the disrespect. There were exceptionally disrespectful young people in your day, just like now. The overwhelming majority of young people in your day and the overwhelming majority of young people today are respectful, honorable, responsible young people.
And I didn't say they weren't. I didn't say the majority of our kids.
You're dismissing
I'm not one of those ones to say that just because a handful of kids are doing something that all the kids must be like that. I'm not one to say that.
No, you don't say it. You just float the idea
of our kids that are doing this crap, and they're doing it on another level.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, bro, it was good to talk to you. I'm glad you made it today. I wasn't gonna bet no money on you making it, but hey, you did. You felt guilty. You owed us.
Anthony, I appreciate your call, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you.
All right. I disagree with Anthony. I think it's very disrespectful to say, well, you doing dirt. Well, I mean, I did dirt, but the dirt I did wasn't as dirty as the dirt that you doing. Young people are not as stupid as you think they are. And young people hear this stuff. And young people, like, hold on. What they mean? They did the same stuff we doing. They just didn't have a TikTok to show it to the world. But they not so stupid that they don't believe that y'all did this stuff. So that's like, me watching you sneak and smoke a cigarette, and then you catch me smoking a cigarette. You an evil person, you're smoking that cigarette. Like, you was just smoking a cigarette. Well, but nobody saw me smoking mine, so that made me better than you. That's disrespectful shit. That's disrespectful. And that would make me not respect you. At least come with, look, I did dirt, you doing dirt. How can we stop all the dirt? Not, back in my day, we didn't do that. Look at what they doing now. That's disrespectful. And I don't respect you. If I'm a young person and I'm hearing that, I don't respect you because I know you did dirt. I know y'all smoked weed. Yeah, I was doing all these drugs. You was smoking, you was doing dope too. But not like y'all doing it. Like, I don't respect you. I can't respect you. Oh, I don't know why they so disrespectful. Hold on, let me grab the phone. Fame.
Hi, Emanuel. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Fame. How are you?
I'm pleasant. I thought I liked your last little interaction there with the last caller, Prosser. Thought you were 100% accurate. You cannot all that my generation stuff. Blah blah blah. Kids were rambunctious in the 70s, the 60s, and they're going to be like that today. It's just there's just more things to be rambunctious and rebellious about. And, there's a heightened, I don't want to say heightened, but, just the tenor, the mood around today is different. Every time you look up, some old-ass pervert out here is sexing somebody's kids. Now, does that mean that back in the day they wasn't doing it? He would have never said that. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, so, these kids today, they are who they are. I respect, like I said, that's why when it came with the young lady and the big burly teacher, that's why I was on the side of the young lady. Kids, you stole her stuff. Whether it was the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there's always been a student who swung on a teacher. That's nothing new.
What? No way. No kid ever swung on a teacher in the 60s or the 70s. It never happened.
No,
These
right.
kids are just disrespectful on another level.
Right. They was 60s and 70s, they was wearing wingtips and was, very they was good colored boys, all of them. Every student was a good colored child back then, wasn't they?
That's what they like you
You
to
know
believe.
what I'm saying? That's what they want you to believe, and all that old ass kids need to be seen and not heard, all that old monkey ass shit. Stop that. Like I said, it's in a child's nature to be rebellious. That is a part of growing up. Being rebellious, sometimes at a fault. So you know what to be rebellious about and what not to be rebellious about. You know what I'm saying? So I caught the tail end of that conversation. And, me and Prosper ain't exactly partners or nothing, but I was just sitting there listening like, damn, Emanuel smacking it. And dude don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? So, props to you. I gotta step off here now because something coming up. But yeah, props to you. Great phone call, great interaction. And y'all leave these kids alone. Quit trying to put your childhood in these kids' childhood.
All right.
You don't have access to 24. You don't have 24 access to everything like these kids do today.
Exactly.
News, media, things like that. Just imagine, if we talked about Tupac the other day. Just imagine if his murder was in the Twitter area where you live by the minute. As opposed to the 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 6 a.m. news. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a totally different era. Quit being mad that, we all old and jacked up and live in a different generation. You know what I'm saying? You sound like one of them old niggas that be like, oh, back in the day, I used to walk to school and all that old sucker-ass shit. Times changed. And let these kids be kids. Thank you, Emanuel.
All right, Fame. Fame, I appreciate you. I don't know that I would have used some of that language because, I don't cuss, but I appreciate the points that you were making. And I really do feel like, I'm telling you, I really do feel like, I don't have no proof. I don't have any proof. But I really do feel like, I watch some of what people call OGs. I watch some of them with some of the young people. And a lot of times, even those young people that we look at as so disrespectful, whatever, they have respect for them. Because a lot of times they be honest about the stuff that they did. And they trying to teach them. Like, I did this. I went down this road. You don't have to go down that road. They ain't saying, oh, well, back in my day, we only did this. But y'all did this. Because that's not what they doing. So they like, okay, I could kind of respect that. But we act like the young people nowadays are just some evil monsters. And if you treat me like an evil monster, and then you're like, but I want you to be respectful to me, little evil monster. I'm a roar and roar. No, I'm not going to be respectful. I'm a little monster. Let me show you how much of a monster I can be. And all I'm saying, for real, this is all I'm saying. Treat young people like people. Treat young people like people with the same level of respect that you would want to be treated with. Talk about young people like people with the same level of respect that you would want to be talked about. Is that going to make all the difference in the world? No. That's what somebody said, so you saying that it's all on us and ain't got nothing to do with the parents. No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying anything close to that. I'm saying this is part of it, though. This is a part of it. Is it the whole thing? No. Sure, there are some young people, which again is the extreme minority. Sure, there's some young people who no matter what you do, they just gonna be disrespectful. They not disrespectful because they can't even process that you disrespecting them by the way you talk about them. They just disrespectful just because. But that's existed forever. Forever. Back when Cain and Abel was little, I bet they was walking around one of them at least was being disrespectful to Adam and Eve. And Adam had to say, hey boy, don't talk to your mama like that. I slap the taste out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's young people. That's young people. Go get me that switch off that forbidden tree. I'm forbidden to get a switch. No, you forbidden to eat the fruit from the tree. You ain't about to eat no fruit. I'm about to tear that ass up. It's happened. Stop acting like it didn't. Well, but we didn't see this. No, we didn't see it back in the 60s. You didn't have Fox News 24 hours a day, CNN 24 hours a day, MSNBC 24 hours a day, C-SPAN and all of the websites. No, you didn't see it as much back then, but it don't mean it didn't happen. You didn't have access to porn on your phone, did you? No, because you didn't even have a phone. Your phone was that big giant thing hanging on the wall at the house that you wasn't allowed to be on all the time because your mama needed to get some calls in from time to time. And you couldn't just dial up porn and watch it. These little kids can pull out their phone right now and literally just watch porn. All the access to all of the stuff that they have, yes, it's gonna escalate things. Yes, it's gonna escalate things some. But acting like things didn't happen back then, but they happen now. Come on, it's a part of it. And when you think about it, what am I saying that's so wrong? Treat young people with some dignity as if they're human. What's wrong with that? Tell me what's so hard about that. Why would a guy saying that ruffle your feathers? Because it doesn't ruffle my feathers to imagine treating young people with basic human dignity. Don't ruffle my feathers, but I say it. What you mean? Then we gonna treat them, but they disrespectful, and they parents and just treat them with basic human dignity. Yeah, but you say that, but back in the 60s, just treat them with basic human dignity. Yeah, but they running down the street, they smashing, they jumping on cars. Just treat them with basic human dignity. Did you see that girl fighting that teacher in the school? That was just so wrong. How we gonna do it? Treat them with basic human dignity. What about, that's a good idea. A simple statement like treat young people with basic human dignity shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't. But we've built up such an animosity towards young people that a simple statement like young people should be treated with basic human dignity riles people up. Why? Why do that rile you up? Okay, man, you're treating them with basic human dignity. All right, what's next? Basic human dignity. Now look. In terms of the, Kings Island got this new rule. Their new rule is going to be what, after 4 o'clock, if you 15 and under, you have to have a chaperone that's over 21. They don't have to be with you, but they have to be in the park, and they have to be able to be reached by phone. Jericho says, I don't know a person who doesn't treat children with basic human dignity. I would imagine you probably do. Talk about them with some respect. Just imagine, I'm going to get back to Kings Island. Just imagine for a minute, because I don't know why this is hard to get through. Imagine for a minute, you as a human, over here at work, you overhear a group of your supervisors talking about you, and all they have to say about you is negative. Imagine that. You ain't supposed to be in. Supervisors, they're having a management meeting. They happen to leave a door cracked. You mind your own business. You happen to walk by, and you hear them saying, only since I mentioned Jerica, man, that damn Jerica. What the hell is wrong with her? She's so damn dumb. She can't do shit right. She got a nasty ass attitude. When we got into the company, we didn't act like damn fools like she is. What is wrong with her? She just ain't no good, but we got to deal with her because she here. And you imagine hearing that every time you hear management talk about you. Whoever you are, LaDonna, Tanika, Kenneth, every time you walk by your supervisors and overhear a conversation of them talking about you, they ain't got nothing but negative to say about you. That's it. And it's extreme. How much respect you gonna show them? Again, am I saying that is the answer? If we treat young people with dignity and respect and talk about them as if they're humans worthy of respect, then all the problems are gonna go away. No, I'm not saying that. Because, this thing has been built up for many years, and that's only a part of it. But we all wondering, well, what can the parents do? It's the parents' fault. Well, what can the kids do? It's the kids' fault. What can the schools do? It's the schools' fault. What can you do? And a simple thing you can do It's changed the way you talk about young people because they hear you. They hear you. It's a part of it. It is a part of it. Tanika says, I don't care what any adult has to say about me at a job. Just give me my coins. That's easy to say. But there's a reason why you see all of these harassment lawsuits. See, we don't be... Tanika, again, that's easy to say. And maybe you different than everybody else. But I've legit watched a whole group of women sue a company because they felt like management didn't respect them based on the way they talked about them and the way that they acted towards them. I watched a class action lawsuit at the Buzz, by the way. The women in the company felt like management didn't respect them. The building was tense as hell for months. They filed a lawsuit. It got settled. The lawsuit wasn't because they wasn't getting paid. The lawsuit was because management talked to them recklessly and talked about them recklessly. That's just a fact. I think you could probably look that up. So the idea that we don't care what nobody have to say about us. We don't care what nobody has to say. As long as they pay me, I don't care what they have to say. It's not true. Angela says, I guess I'll have to watch the replay. I'm lost. Angela, you don't have to watch the replay. I said, a part of the reason why these young people are as disrespectful as they are is because as a society, we have come to hate young people. And they picking up on that energy. And they're responding disrespectfully. So treat young people with basic human decency. And somehow that's controversial to say treat young people with basic human decency. I'm telling y'all. I would imagine, Tanika, and all of y'all, that if you walked through the office and you heard management disparaging you all the time, you probably wouldn't just be like, I don't care as long as they pay me. It would be frustrating. And you might act out. Now, with regard to this Kings Island thing, they're not allowed to come up there after 4 o'clock without a chaperone. I actually don't have a problem with that. On its surface. Now, some of y'all, I'm about to lose y'all. And look, if you still on here complaining about the idea of treating young people with dignity and respect, basic human dignity and respect, go ahead and complain. You're just proving the point of how much you hate children if treating them with basic human dignity and respect ruffles your feathers that much. So, on the Kings Island. On its surface, I don't really have a problem with that, with their Kings Island's new rule. And like I said, I'm about to lose some of y'all. That rule will not be applied evenly, fairly, and across the board. I'm going on record right now saying I do not believe that it will be applied evenly, fairly, and across the board. Look, they're a private company. They can do what they want to do. They can set the rules that they want to set. They can. I'm trying to think back Daryl says, what is their new rule? I said it, but I'll say it again because you might have just now joined. The new rule is after 4 p.m., no one 15 and under are allowed in the park without a chaperone 21 years of age or older with ID, with a phone that they can contact you on. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. But they're not going to apply that evenly across the board. Not to mention, I'm trying to think back over all of the incidents that I'm aware of. Because I'm sure there are incidents that happen that I'm not aware of. And the majority of the incidents that I'm aware of wasn't kids 15 and under. Some of these, of course, were adults. A lot of these were, 18 to 22 year range. And just imagine this. And I just imagine, look, I hope I'm wrong. But just imagine you walking around Kings Island. Because one of the things is if you look under 15, which I would have been in some serious trouble. Because I remember being in college. And at the time I lived in Montgomery, Alabama, going to lunch at the mall and the police stopping us, talking about should not be in school, not talking about college, talking about a high school or a junior high school. Y'all don't know how many times that happened to me. Well, you look like... So they're going to be stopping people who fit the profile. That means you look a certain way. Be that you look a certain age, or there's some other physical characteristic about you that we find undesirable. I'm sure some of it will be based on actions. Oh, there's a group of kids and they're talking loudly. It's a distraction to somebody. Let's go see if they got a chaperone. But I really do have a feeling that it's only certain kids that are gonna be subject to that. I really do. And I mean, there's not much you can do about it. Enough of us are like, yeah, put them out, lock them up. That, it'll be okay. LaDonna says black kids, exactly. Because we aggressive anyway. They gonna see two young looking black people talking to one another, friends, aggressively. I told her that ain't no way that if you say one more word to me and then I said, and they gonna be, fight, they about to fight. Let's go, And I don't think it's gonna be applied across the board. But I guess we'll see. But I got a feeling that even if it ain't, y'all be all right with it. They shouldn't have been up there talking loud anyway at an amusement park. I doubt if they gonna keep any type of, information about it. It's gonna be like anecdotal or some of that newfangled TikTok stuff where somebody gonna have their phone. And they gonna park security gonna be harassing some black people. There's gonna be some young white people right next to them that they ain't saying nothing to. The young white people gonna be wilding, and the young black people gonna be just talking loudly, aggressively. They gonna get checked for their parents or chaperone. They not. It's gonna be on video. We're going to be able to watch the whole thing, and y'all going to have excuses. Y'all going to have excuses. Well, they didn't do nothing to him. So what? They checked on him. They was talking loud. Did you see the way they was dressed? She ain't have on no drawers. You know, that it's going to be something. And y'all going to make excuses for why it's okay. Well, what difference do it make? They had their chaperone, and so they was allowed to stay at the park. So what difference do it make if they got singled out because of what you say is their race? Y'all gonna have excuses. Why it's okay. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I don't know what all the excuses gonna be, but it's gonna be some. Well, none of this wouldn't happen if that black boy hadn't went up there with a gun. Y'all gonna have excuses. They didn't profile them because of their race. They profiled them because of their behavior. But we can see on the video that they ain't doing nothing and they wilding. Well, no, they just talking loud. They talking loud and slapping hands. Maybe if they wasn't slapping hands while they was talking, pounding their fist into their hand while they was talking, maybe they wouldn't have been profiled. Why everything gotta be race, Emanuel? What voice is that? That's my can't never see nothing for what it is when it comes to race voice. It's the truth. It's gonna happen. But Kings Island, like I said, they're a private company. I guess they can come up with their rules. But whatever happened to Cecil Thomas? Woo! We need Cecil. Whatever happened to Cecil? Remember Cecil Thomas and them was going up there and they were going to work with, he called on the radio station. They was going to work with the park to figure out how to properly address young black people. Did that not work out? Whatever happened to that? I remember him saying it was going to happen. He said it on the radio. We got to meet with... I can't do Cecil Thomas. That was terrible. My throat is just... I don't know how he talked like that. It just... I used to be able to do a decent Cecil Thomas, but I can't even... It hurt. It hurt. I don't know. I just be curious about stuff. How did it go? Did the meeting actually happen? Now, let me ask you this question. This is just a question. You can answer or you cannot answer. The overwhelming majority of you will not answer. If you go to Kings Island, and you find out they are profiling based on race, let's say undisputedly, undeniably based on race, young people, to put them out, would you support a boycott of Kings Island? I'm not calling for a boycott. I know y'all going, oh no, he said boycott. Oh my God, we can't boycott. Boycotting is bad. Oh Jesus, oh no. Then would y'all be for it then? No gold pass. No platinum pass. Do they still do platinum passes? Emanuel Livingston. I wonder if he's related to me. He says, serious question. Why would anybody let a 12, 13, or 14-year-old go to Kings Island alone with another 12, 13, or 14-year-old? I hate that you asked that question. I don't consider that a serious question. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? If you got season passes, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you would think it's a safe spot to send your kids. It's a safe spot to send your kids. Let them have a good time. Look, what we just earlier talking about, all these kids, Anthony, these kids can't think of nothing else to do, and these kids can't do this, and we mad when they on they games, because we want them to be outside. Then we mad when they outside and ain't got nothing to do and start doing irresponsible stuff. They should just, if they ain't got nothing else to do, go in the house. Or if they come up with, hey, we saved up our money, or the parents say, we bought you some gold passes so you can go to Kings Island whenever you want. Now, why would you send your 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old to Kings Island? But again, think about this for real. Number one, you paid for it one time. They went twice, it's paid for itself. They get to go up there. There's security. There's entertainment. There's food. They're out of your face. And they're having a good time. They're not hopefully selling drugs. They're hopefully not around where drug dealers are going to be. Just really not a good chance of a drive-by happening at the bumper cars. Or even they got the old-time cars. You're probably not going to have a drive-by while you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many reasons why that's a relatively decent spot to send young teenagers to have a good time. I mean, I can't say for sure. It's been a minute. But I don't imagine they up at Kings Island having sex. They don't have the little haunted castle and stuff, the little haunted thing no more with the boats where you can do little freaky stuff in there. I guess they got that one little shooting game where the little haunted thing used to be. So, somebody could probably do, you could probably get a girl to do a little handwork or something like that. But for the most part, you ain't worried about them getting pregnant. You ain't worried about them getting killed. And you ain't really worried about them getting in trouble if they ain't doing nothing wrong. It's a great place to send your young people. A great place. My question is, why wouldn't you? If you could, why wouldn't you send your young person up there? Not to mention, I remember being 12, 13, 14, 15, going up there for GE Day. I'm not sure if this is the same Emanuel Livingston that I knew growing up, where we used to not have any idea where any adults were that we went to Kings Island with, running around that park, trying to ride everything and looking at girls. I'm not sure if this is the same Emanuel Livingston. I got a brother named Emanuel Livingston. I'm not sure if this is him. But I remember running around Kings Island, having a ball with no parental supervision. And I remember a guy named Emanuel Livingston Jr. They used to run around with me, and Ducky and Bub. So I don't know that that was that serious of a question. I'm not sure. Hold up. We never went to Kings Island without an adult. We didn't get there without an adult. But once we got there, again, unless this is a different Emanuel Livingston, we wasn't hanging out with adults. We was off on our own. Unless this is a different Nathaniel Livingston. Hold on. I had to ask the question. Is this my brother? Is this Nathaniel Livingston Jr., son of the late Reverend Nathaniel Livingston Sr. and Helen Ann Livingston? Is this that Nathaniel Livingston? Because if it is, you know we wasn't hanging around mom and daddy when we went to Kings Island. We was off, gone, doing our own thing. Again, a different time. A different time. We didn't have season passes. But in all honesty, do you really think, if this is the same Nathaniel Livingston Jr. that I know, do you really think if we would have had season passes and, access and all of that kind of stuff, that our parents wouldn't have allowed us to go to Kings Island? You really think that? That's different. So this is him. And although I haven't read the policy, I'm sure it doesn't require teenagers to stay right next to the adult. It doesn't. But that's not the point. The point is, young people, you ask, why would you let your young people, 12, basically to 15, go to Kings Island and just take them there and let them go in and have a good time? Again, the only difference is mom and daddy didn't leave, but they wasn't there with us. And again, my simple question was, do you really believe? Do you really believe that if we had had season passes when we were in what grade are you in? 10th grade? The 9th and 10th. When you were in the 9th and 10th grade, what is that? 13 and 14 or 14 and 15? When you were in the 9th and 10th grade, 14 and 15 years old, 9th and 10th grade, you should not have been allowed to go to Kings Island without your parents. Do you really believe that? I'm asking y'all. When you were in the 9th and 10th grade, do you feel like you should have been, or you were responsible enough to go to Kings Island and have a good time without your parents there? 9th and 10th grade. And for some people, 10th and 11th grade. Should you have been allowed to go to Kings Island in the 9th, 10th, 11th grade without your parent there? Because when you say these ages, you know what I'm saying? You 52, 53, some of y'all 70-something years old. When you say these ages, they sound so young. So young. But when you think about you in the 9th grade, Nate, why don't you call 513-717-KING? Think about it. Kings Island isn't saying a school can't bring a busload of students or they have to stay armless from the child. They're saying you can't have a busload of 7th graders enter the park without an adult. 9th and 10th grade, I know avoiding the question when I hear avoiding the question. Nate, 9th or 10th grade, would you have been able to, Nate Livingston Jr., would you have been able, should you have been able to go to Kings Island by yourself in the 9th and 10th grade? Samuel says, I did, and I never had any issues. Nate says, it might just be me, but you keep freezing. It might be me. I might be doing a little thing. You never know. Angela says, see, I think these conversations don't address the problem of dealing with the exceptions. Oh, you can't call in, you monitoring the police. I respect that. But you could just answer the question. Reese says, I would have been in the 9th grade and I would have been so scared if I would have acted a fool and my parents heard about it. They would have been up at Kings Island to whip my butt in front of everybody. My parents didn't play. And Angela, I keep dealing with the issue. I keep dealing with the issue of how to deal with the exceptions. But nobody want to hear me. Nobody want to hear me. All my ideas sound crazy because they actually deal with us dealing with the exceptions instead of just saying they bad. Like I can say they bad, but I can't say they bad enough for people to actually listen to what might be a part of coming to a solution. Because I didn't say they was bad hard enough or strong enough or long enough or enough times. Basic human dignity is one of the ways. Yes, that is one of the ways. I talked, not earlier today, but I talked about what it is that we have to do as non-parents of the bad kids as they're growing up. I'm going to use the term we have to adopt. Like if you got a ghetto ratchet parent who raising their kid to be ghetto ratchet, you might have to step in and give them an alternative. You might have to step in and give them an alternative. Pour into them something other than ghetto ratchet. So actually get involved. Actually, I don't want to say make a friend, but you might have to make a friend with somebody that you wouldn't normally make a friend with. Because you see them and you see their children and you see how they act and you see how they raising their kid. And if I'm not your friend, I'm probably not going to let you spend no time around my kid to show them an alternative. Because this ain't the day when, you know, the kids would all migrate to somebody's house and then that parent kind of became a pseudo parent. And so they got to watch the way that your kids act and the way you raise your kids, so they got to see a different perspective. This ain't really that day no more. So yeah, you got to go out there and talk to old ghetto ratchet, whoever. And, you know, maybe she'll let her kids come over to your house. You might have to give them some food, talk to them, teach them, play with them. But a lot of people don't want to become that involved. I don't want no ghetto ratchet as my friend. I want to keep her at arm's length away as far as possible. Her kid is her problem until they become your problem. Now, I say that, and no, don't nobody want to do that. That's too much involvement. That's just too much involvement. So I talk about the what I believe are part of the, because again, that ain't the solution. There is no the solution. And that might be an issue. A lot of us are looking for an easy solution, like a one size fits all. Do this. Oh my God, it worked. All the children are so mannerable. I don't think that exists. Maybe it do. I don't think it do. So when we have these conversations, that ain't just this direct. See, when I talked about the teacher fight, and I said certain things, and I'm trying to relate this to people as an example of something, people get too caught up in the example. It ain't the same, Emanuel. That's apples and oranges, Emanuel. You trying to make everything. It's not the same, but it's the principle. And I'm trying to help people understand these principles. But we can't understand the principle because we get too caught up on the example not being the exact same as the incident. And again, I don't have the answers to any of this stuff. I think I might have a little portion of something that I can put out there and then somebody else can grab onto. Like, I got this idea. And then you give the idea to somebody else and they like, oh, you know what, that's a good idea. And maybe if we take it and we do this, then we can grow it. Or what would happen if we took this and did this? And then they give it to somebody else and they like, hold on. If we had this idea and we do this, and then we add that to it, oh my goodness, hold on. And then we all take it and we add something to it. And the next thing you know, we got something. But we can't get past, it's apples and oranges, Emanuel. Which I hate when y'all say that, by the way. When you talk about comparing and contrasting, comparing is looking at the similarities between two things. Contrasting is looking at the differences. So when you say you're comparing apples and oranges, as if that's some foreign notion and you can't do it. They're round. They're sweet. They got seeds. They grow on trees. We consider them fruit. They both got skin. And there's so much that you can look at in terms of similarities between the two that I don't even understand how that became a thing. Apples and oranges. You can compare apples and oranges. There are a lot of similarities between the two. Y'all, I got to get ready to get out of here. I believe Wyatt to get ready. I saw Wyatt posted a comment, but it went by so fast, I didn't have an opportunity to see it. And Anthony was on the air, on the line with me, trying to badger me, making it seem like back in his day, they was all perfect little angels, and now they all horrible damn devils. He had me all flustered. I couldn't even address what Wyatt was saying. But I believe Wyatt is coming on. You want to check him out? He's probably on right now. So if I were you, here's what I would do. This is just if I were you. I would click off of here. I would search Randall Wyatt, and then I would click on his stream. Anthony, I was giving you a hard time. If I were you, that's what I would do. Click on his stream and see what he got to say about it. But we shooting kids in schools. We shooting kids that knock on the wrong door. We shooting kids that turn up the wrong driveway. We shooting kids that hop in the wrong car. We banning kids from going to places. We mad at kids because they stay in the house and play video games. And then we mad at them because they go outside. We mad at them because they go to Kings Island. We mad at them because, they go and commit acts of violence that terrorize the people. I think the only time when we really like kids is when we look at him, when we perceive he might could make it in the NFL. He might could make it in the NBA. Then we love the kids. We love them then. Other than that, we mad at the kids. Who is we? We is this society. That's who we is. We is this society. We mad. We mad if they sleep too much. We mad if they don't sleep enough. We mad if they coming up with a new dance on TikTok that ain't hurting nobody. But they should be respectful. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. Go check out Wyatt. And report back to me if he say anything negative about anything I said. No, I'm just playing. I'm gonna probably go check him out too. Well, probably not, because I gotta go to Bible study. Gotta run sound. It's been the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope something amazing happens to you, something life-changing before the end of the day, all right? Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace. Oh, and for the few of y'all that's still here, what is going on with Jonathan Majors? What is going on with that brother? Had the industry in a chokehold. Somebody had strapped a rocket to his back and he was headed straight to the top. He had a #1 movie and then a #1 movie that knocked the other #1 movie out of the #1 spot. And all because, I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it happened, I don't know if it didn't happen, but because of domestic violence, he been dropped by his publicist, by his management company. He done lost how many film roles? The Army dropped him. Major League Baseball, was it the Texas Rangers? They dropped him. He done lost so much. And what if he didn't do it? What if they actually do have a video and the brother did not choke a bitch? What if that's the case? Now, if he did choke a bitch, then, he get what he deserved. I don't know whether to feel sorry for him yet or whether to feel good that he getting what he deserved. I don't know. And now when they talking about, they say, well, Marvel ain't really said nothing about, doing away with his character or whatever. But Marvel could easily recast that character. And they're already talking about recasting the dude from Snowfall as Kang the Conqueror. But how could they do that? They already shot some stuff. Look, they already showed you in Loki. Some of y'all don't follow this stuff. But they already showed you in Loki that every, what do they call it when you come from a different timeline? Every variant don't necessarily look the same. Some of them can be women, some of them can be little kids, some of them can be alligators. So they could easily have a different Loki variant, a different Kang variant that don't look like Jonathan Majors. So It's all bad for him right now. His best hope, they keep saying there was a video in the car. I hope there was a video in the car. Then that way we can know for sure. Like, yeah, he getting what he deserved. Or, oh, they wrong for that. Jerica says alligator. No, really, one of the Loki variants was an actual alligator. But he was Loki in a different universe. Loki was an actual alligator. So yeah, the variant doesn't have to look anything like whoever the actor is playing them. They just put a new actor in there and say, oh, that's another variant. It is terrible. It's terrible if he's not guilty. It's terrible either way. Look, women. I'm not blaming the victim, but I'm kind of blaming the victim. Don't be snatching nobody's phone. Don't be snatching nobody's phone from them. Be it in high school or as an adult. Stop taking people property. Now, do that give him a right to Djokovic? No, it doesn't. But if you got doubts to that degree, just leave. Just leave. Be taking people's stuff. And speaking of Snowfall, the actor from Snowfall, I watched the finale last night. I was exceptionally disappointed. To me, it lacked everything that the rest of the series had. I get what they did, what they was going for, and all of that kind of stuff. But the whole time, I was so disappointed by the entire like, look, I don't mind how it ended. No spoilers. I don't mind how it ended. Weird choice, but I don't mind. But at least, you know what I'm saying? Something else that like they could have did it in a better way. More tension filled, more, I don't know, action filled, more detailed, more something. LaDonna said, you thought it was good. I was disappointed with it. I was disappointed. Daryl says, I was too. The final episode was poorly written. Lady K said, that's how I felt with the have and the have-nots. Never watched it. Jeannie says, is everyone just seeing a black screen? I hope not. I see me. Hi, me. Hi. But yeah, I was disappointed. I also watched the season finale of The Mandalorian. The season finale of The Mandalorian. I was a little disappointed with that one too. It was a little more action-packed. But this whole season of The Mandalorian, they spent too much time on stuff that they didn't have to spend time. And it felt like they had to pack so much stuff into the season finale that they didn't really have enough time to do justice to any of it. Y'all had a whole season to tell this story. Y'all chose to tell all of these other stories, and it was like they said, oh, we got a Mandalorian story to tell. Well, let's do it in one episode. Y'all could have fleshed this whole story out. It had too much stuff all packed into like 1 or 2 episodes. So I was disappointed with that one too. All right. I really do have to get out of here now. I forget what made me think of Jonathan Majors, but I just keep seeing these updates about the brother. And I'll be honest, I was proud of him. I was proud of him. And let me ask this question. I think this is the last question because I really do have to get out of here. I got to go to do Bible study. I got to go do Bible study. Yes, Bible study on Thursday. This church does Bible study on Thursday. Am I the only one who tired of seeing the black British actors get major roles? And that's a part of why I was happy about, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. I mean, I got nothing against the black British actors, the dude from Snowfall, whatever. I got nothing against them. But what about the black American actors? Let the black British actors play black British dudes. Faking the accent and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I definitely hate it when they play our icons. I definitely hate that. But I was happy seeing black African Americans get roles. But that's just me. That's just me. Or maybe I'm the only one. All right, y'all. I really do got to go this time. I don't care about Idris as Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was not an African American icon. Let the South Africans worry about that. That's their thing. But I don't need no British dude playing Martin Luther King. I don't need no British chick playing Harriet Tubman. I don't need no African dude playing Martin Luther King. I don't need no British dude playing, why can't I remember his name? The Black Panther brother. And Judas and the Black Messiah. Let a brother play that role. Let a brother play that role. That's all I'm saying. Huey Newton. And especially with some of the, I watch a little show, a British talk show. I don't be understanding a lot of the issues that they talking about. I mean, I comprehend what they saying, but I'm not there, so I don't know all the ins and the outs and stuff that they're talking about. But racism is a big deal over there, like it is just about everywhere. And sometimes I hear the black British people call in, and their views on, yes, that was my stomach, and I haven't eaten today. My food is upstairs waiting on me. But some of those black British people's views of black Americans are atrocious. They're atrocious. And then they come over here and they play black American icons. But I know what they think about these same icons that they're supposed to be playing. And like, if you think that black people are terrible ghetto people, black Americans are terrible ghetto people, why are you playing Harriet Tubman? So I don't know. It frustrates me. I see it. I don't like it. And that's that. That's that. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. Hope y'all have an amazing day. Again, I really do hope something amazing happens in your life today. Till next time. I'm out for real this time. Peace.